That's right. It's the Average Joe's Fantasy Thunder back again another week. Can you smell what the Joes are cooking? It smells so good. What's going on, Dave?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Man, I am getting along this week. We got fantasy playoffs. We got heartbreak. We got exuberation. We got happy people. We got sad people. We got folks looking forward to next season. They're asking, hey, how is the draft going to go for next year? I mean, it's a total myriad of of emotions and thoughts. Some people are crushed. Some people are worried. I'm all of them because I got several leads. I'm sure you're about the same, but it's all
Yeah,
part of the
yeah,
fun, right?
yeah. Not knowing, it's a little interesting to go through your different emotions, your ups, your downs, and you're coming down to the wire. You're cheering for
Yeah,
70 players for one team and hating on them for another team.
right.
It's interesting.
I need to score 14.3 points, just enough to have a good day on my team, but not enough to kill me on
Right.
my.
Absolutely.
Anything over 14.3 is too much. Yeah, man. So it's very interesting. It's a lot of fun. Before we jump too deep into it, once again, want to thank everyone for coming back and listening. I know it's getting deep into the fantasy season, and again, a lot of people right now are just looking forward to next year or licking their wounds and wanting to forget about fantasy football. I've almost quit fantasy football about 200 times just because stuff that happens. But we thank you guys for coming back and listening and supporting the show. Again, continue to come back. We will have some great things over the off season. I think you guys will help you out for the upcoming season to be a lot better prepared. We do want to thank those behind the scenes, helping us out, get the word out, also developing the website, helping us out on Instagram and Facebook. You can visit us there, those platforms. Instagram, we have a growing presence there. It is Average Joe's Fantasy Football _ between each word, and also on Facebook, the Average Joe's Fantasy Football Podcast. We would love to help you guys out there. Be interactive with us. You can leave your starts, tips, questions, thoughts, whatever. We would love to hear from you. Also, it means the world to us to take a second, like the video, subscribe, and again, comment with us on any platform you wish, including YouTube here. With that having been said, speaking of comments, I'm just going to give it to him, Dave. I hope you don't mind. Someone came back on the video from last week and said they're still trying to answer the question from a few weeks ago about the defense. And we never gave the answer to the defense that was top 5 last year and still top 5 this year in fantasy scoring points. And someone said, is it the Rams? Yes, it's the Rams. That's not how you answer the question. You say my answer is the Rams. I'm just going to give it to him as Zay the Goat. Zay the Goat. Zay the Goat. Zay the Goat. So you're the winner. You get to pick.
Zay the Goat.
Zay the Goat. You're the Goat, man. You get to pick the intro music for us next week again. Nothing profane or anything, but as long as I can find a clean version, it'll be up there. Please leave in comments what you want to hear, and we will throw it up there for you. And again, I'm just messing around with you. Thank you so much for supporting the show and listening and answering and commenting. We certainly do appreciate it. With that having been said, we do have a new question of the week, and this one is going to come along at some point with some creamy ranch habanero, hers potato chips. We love them. You should love them. Now, Dave, you can't answer the question, man. You can't make the question and answer the question.
I thought about making another YouTube account and just kind of sliding an answer in there. And
oh man,
like, man, you good job,
Excellent. Send me those chips, buddy. Yeah. No, but then we have a new question of the week, and this will come with some creamy ranch habanero potato chips. Trust me, you guys will love it. They are phenomenal. And I will let Dave go ahead and take it away with the question of the week.
Yeah. So question of the week this week. Who is the only wide receiver with more rushing yards and rushing touchdowns than Tyreek Hill? So again, who is the only wide receiver with more rushing yards and rushing touchdowns than Tyreek Hill this year?
Awesome. Great question. So go ahead and answer that. Leave it in the comments, and you will, if you're the first, put the correct answer and just answer it. Say, hey, the answer is this. Don't ask us if that's the answer. Answer it, and you will be the winner for this particular week. I do want to mention one thing. We are developing a listener league for next year. Speaking of next year, please leave your name or hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. Let us know you're interested. It is first come, first serve. Outside of that, man, how was your week shaping up, Dave?
Oh my goodness. So, long story short, my birthday was yesterday, and I got to enjoy. Oh, thank you. I got to enjoy my birthday with a heart-wrenching loss to the Cowboys, and then a couple of my important leagues.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm going to be done in two of them, actually. One of them, both of them I've got things going tonight. One league, I need Stephon Diggs to score less than 8 points, and then I'll move forward.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's a possibility.
And then in the other one, yeah, it is. I was going back and looking, so we'll see. And then the other one, I need Thielen to score 40 for me to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's a tough one there. Both of those are kind of tough. But you at least got a shot. I don't think you got a shot with Thielen, but at least you have a shot with Diggs. There's, anything can happen. I don't wish for an injury or anything, but he could have one of those, I don't know, 3 reception and 40-yard kind of games. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen, but we'll see. Me, man, I suffered a heart-wrenching loss, and almost like the entire year. My redraft not so awesome, and my dynasty was looking good. Actually, I had a bye in one of my dynasty leagues. In the other dynasty league, I think I blew the guy out by like 50 or 60 points. So we're looking good there. But in one of my important redraft leagues that I really wanted to win in, the worst possible thing happened. Just the worst possible thing on this particular week. In particular, this week happened. I'm gonna give you a chance to maybe rack your brain and guess what happened to me. What I did just destroyed me. Just take a guess. I know it's so many things, but
sit Derrick Henry.
Ding, 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 ding. You're the winner. You are the winner. Oh my God. So I have Derrick Henry in one of my redrafts, and actually picked him off of waivers about 6 weeks ago, somewhere around there. Someone dropped him because he was having a crappy year. And he's been doing okay. He's been kind of touchdown dependent, but he's been getting that touchdown just about once a game, giving you 12, 13 points. I've been having him in my lineup. And come around that Jeff Wilson Jr. was on waivers.
Right.
So I picked Jeff Wilson Jr. up, and I switched him out for Derrick Henry. I just put Derrick Henry on the bench, put Jeff Wilson Jr. in, thinking Jeff Wilson Jr. had 19 points last week, going to get even more opportunity. He's the only running back in San Francisco.
Sensible.
It's a sensible switch, but the worst possible thing is I put Derrick Henry on the bench. He scores 47. Every yard he's getting is killing me. I'm like, oh my God, he's having the game of the century almost. I think the only person I can remember having more points than him is Julio Jones from a couple of years ago when he had like that 300-yard game or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm losing. I'm going to lose this week. I have to have. I forgot what has to happen here. I think Kirk Cousins needs the score. Like, it's not out completely out of. No. Actually, that's the wrong league. Yeah, that league is done. So I'm done on that league. That's the worst possible thing that can happen. You have him go off. I have him in my lineup most weeks, and I took him out for Jeff Wilson Jr.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
the guy that's been doing.
Yeah.
He's hurt you both ways though. The guy you've been afraid to put in, and then now he does that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Anyhow. All right, well, we got a show tonight, folks. We got to move along. We're going to make it quick. We got football here soon. So we're going to do the Week 14 preview. Sorry, Week 15. Sorry, Week 14 review. And then we're going to do the Thursday night preview. We're going to talk about a few what the heck moments. and give you guys one of our ride or die players for the rest of the year in a quick waiver wire segment. So let's jump right in here, Dave. Let's talk about the first game, Carolina and Cleveland. And I got two takeaways from this game. Two takeaways that I want to talk about. First is when Cleveland intentionally gets Landry involved, they are a much better team. They are much better offense.
Yeah, could have said it better myself.
Yeah, when they make sure the ball gets in his hands, much better offense. I hope to see him continue to be utilized in that fashion. The second one, this is actually a piggyback off that one. Did you see that pass to Jarvis Landry from Baker Mayfield? That dude is a sniper. I couldn't believe how he fit that ball in. I mean, it was perfectly placed, and that was a 50-yard bomb, man. That wasn't like a 20 or 30. He put that thing on a rope, man. I was really impressed.
Oh yeah,
really impressed by that. But the second thing I take away here is CMC is becoming the Ezekiel Elliott for the Carolina Panthers. He is their offense. He is their team.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
And I think a lot of... Go ahead, I'm sorry. I'm going to let you jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I mean, which is great for fantasy owners that want to see the volume, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you want to have a running back that's going to be in a system with more weapons, so the defense can't just focus on your guy that you're out there playing.
Absolutely, and I'm a Cam Newton on it in a couple of different leagues, and I'm kind of tired of him not running the ball and getting a couple of touchdowns. That was one thing that you drafted Cam Newton for. He was the best short line goal back in the league, so to speak. They kind of say that about him. But I mean, honestly, he got a lot of 1-yard, 2-yard touchdowns and just zero this season. They will not stop handing CMC the ball. And don't get me wrong, he's been very good in his role, but something's going on with Cam Newton. They've been talking about this injury to his shoulder. He's not throwing touchdowns. He's not running for touchdowns. 9 points last week, 12 fantasy points this week. Can you continue to put Cam Newton in your lineup with these kinds of numbers?
Yeah, see, that's you're super nervous about him, and it's one of those things that's happening. I think we spoke about it last time, but it's happening. It's unfortunate that it's happening at this time of the season when we're in the playoffs for fantasy. I was looking through, and I noticed that the stats are there for Carolina as far as what you want to see from your players. Is just like you said, the touchdowns are lacking. Like each guy, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, even Ian Thomas, they're a touchdown away from 14, 15 points, a solid fantasy day. So you want to see Cam Newton be able to get these balls into the end zone and get not only for your for the flex players, but for the guys that drafted Cam. But moving forward, trusting him, I think the shoulder's only going to get worse. I don't see it getting better the more that he's throwing the ball, constantly rotating his arm over and over and over again. I think it's just something you're going to have to look at and monitor. And if you can, as long as you stand on the injury, you just have to possibly look at other situations if you can see a better matchup. And it's hard to say, that you have to go away from Cam, but it's getting to that point, unfortunately, that you do have to think about looking in a different direction. Especially they got the Saints coming up this week, which you like that matchup. You expect it to be high scoring, but if Cam if he's not getting through it on the ground and CMC scoring all the touchdowns, that takes away that ceiling for you.
Yeah, it's really hard at this point in time. And like I said before, I have Cam on a couple of teams, and I'm looking, and the problem is all I have is Marcus Mariota there, and I'm like, okay, waiver wire. So who's out there? You got Nick Mullins, and he can't go. He has the Bears here in a couple of weeks. Can't trust that. You got Eli Manning out there. Maybe I'll think about. I don't know. So it's really tough at this time of the year to have this kind of an issue with your quarterback, and especially when you're talking about a plummeting Panthers team where now he has this injury. They're 6-7. They're not mathematically eliminated, but you would think it would be a very, very tough time to get into the playoffs at this point in time. Do they just shut Cam down? And you're really stuck.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm really concerned about that situation. Something to keep your eye on. I don't know. With that having been said, though, on the other side of the ball, Chubb had a great game. He kind of rebounded from the week before, heavily involved in the offense. He's looking like, I don't know if a stud is the word, but certainly a super, super consistent running back that you can throw in just about every week.
Yeah, he's definitely becoming that guy, that RB1 for you, that guy that you don't really necessarily have to think about when you're setting up your lineup. Like, this guy's playing, so yeah, that consistency is there, and that's fantastic.
Absolutely. Do you have anything else about this game?
No, we can move on.
Let's go ahead and talk real quickly here about Oakland and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I turned this game off. This is almost a what the heck moment. And if it is one of your what the heck moments, I'm sorry. But I almost turned this game. I did turn it off. I stopped watching because I'm like, okay, Big Ben is back in, Steelers are going to win. There's no way Oakland's going to. What happened? I mean, Pittsburgh at one point in time was a team that seemed like it was on a mission. And they dropped 2 straight and won to the lowly Oakland doggone Raiders. The last time there was a loss this bad, a coach got fired by the name of Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
What is happening here? Did you watch this whole thing? Did you see something that I didn't see? What's going on?
Yeah, I was kind of tuning in every once in a while. I didn't pay much attention to it either. I was astonished that the game was even close. I didn't really see much either. I don't know. I don't understand. I went back and I looked at the stats after the game, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. Besides a phenomenal Jared Cook game, he wasn't even the guy that scored the touchdown. I'm just wondering, like, what happened? I know Ben he came out for a few series, and on those series, Dobbs did not look remotely good at all. I feel like if Ben was in there, maybe they could have got that lead out a little farther, and they wouldn't have been in this position. But
maybe they had Colin Kaepernick.
Even with
Go ahead.
Yeah, something, But even with that, I think for them, just the situation of having Dobbs, no Big Ben, and no James Conner at the same time hit big on them, and the defense wasn't as solid enough to keep, as weird as it's going to say, to keep Derek Carr down, because Derek Carr had a game.
Yeah, actually, I was going to talk about him. Man. This is his second week in a row looking really good. Now, don't get me wrong, they're against 2 defenses and not all that awesome, but you went out there and picked up the Steelers' defense to stream them against Oakland. And no, Derek Carr came out with 300 yards passing this game, I believe 2 touchdowns to touch the game. And he was one of my starts of the week. He was one of my honorable mentions from start of the week last week. That's why you got to come back and watch and listen to the show. You can watch too, but there's not much to watch. But listen to the show. You give you gold here. Yeah. So we had him at the start of the week last week, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Jared Cook was my other start of the week. I piggyback off of Derek Carr here. Jared Cook went off for another great game. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of him. But I want to talk about Jalen Samuels real quickly here. Looked horrible on the ground against Oakland, which is susceptible to running backs on the ground. But looked pretty decent in passing. That's, I guess, why he also doubles as a tight end. Do you think, because it sounds like Connor will be out for another week or two, what is your level of confidence with Jalen Samuels?
Yeah, that is it was unfortunate to see for me because, like I said last time, I've been holding on to Samuel since the fantasy league started, in some of my dynasty leagues, and just hoping, like, all right, Jalen's going to be used. They're really high on him. There's a couple of things that made me not too confident in him anymore. One, Stephen Ridley got in on one of the red zones down the stretch, and he kind of vultured a touchdown, and I was like, okay, these things happen. So then the next time, they kept Samuels in, and he wasn't even able to punch it in. They weren't that far out. So those 2 things alone, on top of the fact that he had 11 carries for only 28 yards against the Raiders, that all of that together is definitely nerve-wracking. He did have, like you said, to your point, he did have 7 targets, was able to catch all 7 of them, which helped his day. But I don't. a 7-target game is not something I'm wanting to bank on with my running back week in and week out, especially going against they went against the Raiders, like you said. So the confidence level for Samuels, for me, if I've got 3 better running backs or 2 better running backs, however your league is set up, I'm probably looking elsewhere because the volume and the production that I was expecting him to get isn't even half what Connor was doing.
Absolutely. I will say this about the Steelers as well. And we've alluded to it a couple of times throughout the season, but this is Juju's receiving core. Juju is the man. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is still a good season for AB. Really a great season for AB. AB has 86 receptions and 1,063 yards and a number of touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, or something like 12. So he's still great season. Hats off to him. But Juju, and it doesn't seem like it's that big of a difference. He has 91 receptions and 1,200. He has 1,246 yards receiving. But it just seems like AB has disappeared to me.
Yeah.
He's having good games, but yeah, it feels like Juju is the guy. Anytime you see a huge stat line or someone, running away for is Juju Smith-Schuster. He's the man. Yeah. I'm really excited to see what he does, man, going forward for years. I wish I had him on my dynasty squad.
Yeah, I love me some Juju, and to your point, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because AB is still producing, but like you said, whenever the big plays or when that play needs to happen, it just seems to be Juju every time.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's phenomenal watching that kid play.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and move on to let's go ahead and talk about Chicago and LA. This was just, to me, the game of the week. We talked about this last week. We actually talked about this game last week. I said I didn't think it was going to happen, and the stars aligned in this one particular instance, and Chicago won. It was shocked at the way they won. Completely shocked.
Yeah.
In a time where defense is legislated out of the league, and this is more of an offensive league, and offenses are completely running over defenses. I mean, you think about the Kansas City Rams game, where it was like one of the highest point totals ever, but you took the 3 or 4 sacks the Rams got as a good defensive game. And they got a defensive touchdown. Yeah. You're like, okay, this is a great defensive game, even though the score is out of hand. 6-15. This is like the 70s or something. They shut the Rams down, including Todd Gurley, 4 interceptions. Who should be more afraid? The rest of the league of the Bears defense, or should LA Rams be afraid that their offense maybe is not as good as they were hoping?
Oh, that's a tremendous question. I think you got to have a little bit of fear on both sides. I think every team should, if they weren't already awake, they should definitely be now with the Bears defense. Like they are here to play. Right. This is something serious. This is happening. And at the same time, I think that the Rams are going to have to take a step back and look at Jared Goff. We talked about it last week. When Jared Goff gets under pressure, he throws the ball. It's these decisions that go through his head. It's like, okay, I've got people running after me, but I don't want to throw it out of bounds. That guy looks open. Let's try it. And I don't quite get that thought process, but that's something that he's definitely going to have to cut down on. 4 interceptions is unacceptable, and especially when your defense is giving you 3 interceptions on the other side of the ball, like just a little bit of help here and there. But this was I kind of hated seeing it because this was my I sit so you start. I set the Bears defense. Me too. And they went out and got 19, 20 points.
In the same league that I set Derrick Henry, by the way, mind you.
Oh goodness!
Yeah, I went out and I got the Steelers. I went out and got the Steelers defense against Oakland, thinking, okay, it's gonna and set the Bears defense and Derrick Henry, and that's what I get. You stick with your guys. Stick with your guys.
Absolutely. I went out and got the Broncos, who were my start of the week, and we saw how that went. But we'll talk about that. Yeah, no, that's definitely something that I think the league, like you said, or like we were saying, on both sides, need to look at. And in a way, the Bears too. Their offense didn't perform very well either. It just so happened that their defense won up the Rams defense.
Absolutely. I want to make mention, Jordan Howard did have over 100 yards rushing in this game. I'm not sure if this is his first of the season, but it seems like it. So congratulations to him. Finally got off the snide there, where it was seeming like he was going to be phased out of this offense completely. They may still have a spot for him. I'm still kind of shaky on him. He would be one of those guys. I'm not sure if I would be starting or not, but he definitely had a solid game. Happy for him there. Last takeaway for me here is that Robert Woods is unquestionably, to me, the leader of the receiving corps for the Rams. Even in this really bad game script, against a great defensive effort, he led the team in receiving. So I think he is Goff's guy. They developed a chemistry last year. I kind of said at the beginning of the season, where we were wondering who the odd man out would be. And great thing for the Rams for the most of the season, there has been no real odd man out. But he has just been super consistent week after week. Not a huge stat line. He only had like 13 fantasy points. But in the game where they didn't really do anything, he still had 7 receptions on 13 targets. That's pretty, and probably a few of those targets he got were interceptions. But it just goes to show how comfortable he is with Robert Woods, and he's the wide receiver to own, especially with Cooper Kupp out. All right, let's go ahead and talk quickly about Kansas City and Baltimore. And really, I want to focus a little bit more on Baltimore because we're going to talk about Kansas City against the Chargers here in the Thursday night game. So with Baltimore here, first, have you heard anything additional about Lamar Jackson's injury?
No, only thing I heard is, Harbaugh's doing Harbaugh things. He won't commit to Joe Flacco starting or vice versa. So, I haven't heard much about how serious this is.
Okay. And that was the next question. If Jackson is out, are you banking, and I'm probably banking on Flacco, but the question needs to be asked, are you banking on Flacco or possibly RG3 next week?
I'm thinking I'm thinking Joe Flacco, and the reason is the confidence level that I have watching RG3 the 2 times he stepped in for Lamar. Now, one could argue, well, he didn't start the whole game. Right. Maybe he wasn't running with the ones, things of that nature. And, of course, that's a fair argument. But when you do see a guy come in and play for a guy, you do kind of expect a little more than what you were getting from RG3, especially in preseason when I watched RG. I was like, okay, this guy is throwing better than Lamar. So that right there was in my mind, I was like, well, RG might be higher on the depth chart than Lamar, unfortunately. Yeah. But seeing as of late, the throwing's not really there. It just, the team doesn't look anywhere near as good as they look with Lamar or with Flacco for that matter. So, if Flacco can play and Lamar can't, I believe they will roll Joe out.
Yeah. We had a guy earlier this season in one of our leagues that's kind of square up and down that if Flacco went down, RG3 would get the nod. And I was like, no way they don't put their first round pick out there. And so I think you remember we're in the same league together. And that first game Flacco was out, I was like, man, that's crazy. RG3 looks just like Lamar Jackson. As a matter of fact, he has his uniform on.
And that dude didn't even respond.
No, he had nothing to say. It was real quiet in there. But yeah. So and another takeaway from this game, here we go with more muddledness, if that is even a word. So who are you going to trust more going forward the rest of the season, Kenneth Dixon or Gus the Bus?
Oh, Dixon.
You're breaking my heart.
Yeah, I know, but I'm breaking my own heart. I have Gus Edwards, but Dixon has been their guy. I mean, I think we were talking about that earlier on when it was Alex Collins and before Dixon got injured. They love Dixon. This is Baltimore's guy.
But he looks so fat. He looks like a linebacker.
And the thing, I don't. I personally have not seen the love or the reason the love is so high for Dixon. I have always liked Buck Allen more as far as a pass catcher, and then
Don't talk about Buck Allen.
I'm just look, this is just me, you know. It's just me. But anyway, needless to say, yeah, I think there you obviously see it's been another week where Gus Edwards got 0 targets in the pass game.
Yeah.
So he's not that guy. That's not going to happen. Dixon ate into it on the ground. He had all the targets, and I saw a report today that they're going to use Dixon even more going forward. So he's going to continue to eat all into that.
Yeah, I think they're going to vulture the mess out of each other, but I think they like using both guys. The question I really have now that Dixon's come along and we're seeing that he's going to get more touches is true indeed, or was it truly Gus Edwards outplaying, speaking of people we probably shouldn't talk about anymore, Alex Collins? Or was there really an injury there that was maybe holding Alex Collins back a little bit, where it was maybe undisclosed or something he was dealing with? Because Alex Collins held Dixon off. He did for the preseason and going into the season until Dixon got hurt and went down IR. He was holding him off. Now, Gus Edwards, maybe because he doesn't have any prowess in the passing game. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe Dixon is maybe Dixon is finally 100% healthy, and like you said, they love. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens in the next game. The real question, the reason I'm asking this really is what to do with him next season. If he's the lead rusher for a Baltimore offense with John Harbaugh led Baltimore offense, he is a hot commodity for next season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he could start going. I mean, talking about in redraft, he could be that round 4, round 5 kind of a guy. And if you stashed him or got him off waivers, which you probably could have earlier in the season, it's funny in the dynasty anyhow. He could be a steal coming up next season. All right. Another question, and we're gonna move on. Just want to talk about Lamar Jackson here. He went down with an injury, and one of the topics of conversation about Lamar Jackson is, can he keep up this style of play? Go see the old RG3 tapes. Go see another guy, whoever.
Right.
These running quarterbacks that don't seem to last. Can he keep up running the ball 12, 13, 14, 15 times a game? If his game does not evolve, how long will he be in the league? Do you think the way he runs the ball, he can continue to do what he does?
He's going to have to learn, as RG and Kaepernick and all of those other guys have to learn, that he's going to have to slide. I think I have yet to see him slide or even go down for that matter. He runs, and then he'll take the hit. And I think the problem is he's so fast that he thinks he can juke and run past everybody, and you're not going to get past everybody. So if he doesn't learn to slide quickly, or somebody to let him know, hey, man, it's okay to get down every once in a while, it's going to be another one of those situations where we have this great running talent, and it's gonna come to a quick end, not end, but it's going to go down very quickly.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can learn to slide and get down or get out of bounds, one or the other. Just something where he's not taking these hits.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's go ahead and talk about Kansas City and the Chargers. And this game has me super pumped. There's always one game a week that I'm pumped about, but when it's in the middle of the week, like a Thursday night game, but I can't wait for this to happen. And it feels like to me, we can see what the Chargers are finally made of. You know what I mean? I mean, they have been probably surpassing expectations, considering their history anyhow this season. But really get to see if they're, once again, in that upper echelon of teams. They don't even have to win. This just needs to be a good, competitive game. How do you see this one shaping up?
Absolutely. I'm looking at it a lot of ways. From the Chiefs' standpoint, the big question is Tyreek Hill. Is Tyreek going to play? At first, Tyreek came out himself and said that the injury to his foot was bad. Then we got something, another examination.
Day.
We got more news. And it's,
Yeah.
It's day to day, nothing too serious. It's a short week. It's a short week for those guys. I feel like they do need this win. The Chiefs do. If they lose to the Chargers, they then split. Their records are tied, and there's now we've got this question. It's like they went from number one to the wild card potentially. So I do think they need this game. They will. I feel like if Tyreek can play, do you risk your, in my opinion, one deep threat that you have? Your one, and this is weird to say that a deep threat is a safety blanket, but I feel like Tyreek Hill down the field is kind of a safety blanket when he's running and just making up his own routes, and Mahomes is doing the same thing in the backfield. So from that standpoint, I think the Chiefs, if they have Tyreek, they can come out here and I won't say do what they want, but definitely come out here and kind of big brother the Chargers. On the other hand, no Melvin Gordon. I think if Melvin doesn't play for the Chargers, this might show the time they need him the most.
I think he's going to go.
I'm hoping so. When I was looking at it, I said, Melvin, you have to play.
Yeah.
Like whatever it
is,
is
the time.
This game, you've got to play. But if we can get Melvin healthy, we can get Tyreek healthy, I'm just as excited about this game that you are. Yeah. It's going to be phenomenal.
I think Melvin will end up going. I think we've seen that as good as Justin Jackson looked in that one game, he's probably not the answer. And there was some there's some big time questions about Justin Jackson coming into this week. I mean, people were sitting regular starters for this guy. I'm having a hard time thinking of questions people were asking, but it was stuff like, hey, Jalen Samuels or Justin Jackson or what's another one I've seen? I can't think of them off the top of my head here, but there were a few. Last
week we were. Last week when we were on the show, we were talking, and I told you I was starting Justin Jackson over Joe Mixon. I didn't do that.
Thank God.
I changed it, but that was something I was considering for a while.
No. So we kind of seen that he didn't have a great game at all. I think he averaged 1.7 yards, and that can happen to anybody. But Melvin is the lead dog there for a reason. They need him back in. Hopefully, the reports about his knee are accurate. It wasn't as bad as they were thinking. He can get back out there this Thursday night game. But I do feel like this is going to be a Tyrell Williams game. He is, for all intents and purposes, the Tyreek Hill for the Chargers. Now, not the same kind of a player where they make that backyard football up and just kind of gets open. But the speed down the field where, he can hit those long plays. He only needs one or two a game. I feel like to keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to have to take those shots down the field, and I think he will have another 3-reception, 120-yard kind of a game. Do you think that's a good take, or what do you think about Tyrell Williams this game?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that. I mean, the Chiefs' offense, our defense is one of the defenses that should happen on, could happen on. I think that you could actually see one of those games he was having in the middle, like you said, 3 receptions, 111, touchdown or 2, something like that. And that's all. If they can get that out of Tyrell, and Keenan can keep being Keenan, the Keenan that we've seen these past couple of weeks, this could be a shocker for a lot of people that are underestimating the Chargers for whatever reason. This could really shock a lot of people.
Absolutely.
If Tyrell can do that, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Good deal. Now, before we move on for this game, I got to bring something up because mid-game, right around the third quarter, I got a text message. I got a text message. I'm not going to point any fingers, say any names, anything like that. But you mentioned you want to talk about Pat Mahomes on the show today. You said, and I can't wait. I can't wait for the show so we can talk about my Pat Mahomes tape, because I told you last week you play Mahomes regardless. And I think he had about 11 fantasy points about midway through the third quarter. Would you like to tell the people how that ended up for you?
I actually wrote down here, and I star beside it, and I wanted to say this verbatim. I'll be the first to say that once again I underestimated Mahomes. And
it's week 15.
The funny thing about that is, while in that same text message conversation, you responded and said, "You don't sit Mahomes. Haven't you learned your lesson already?" And I said, you know what? I go back and I looked and I said, man, this guy ended up with, I think, 20, 21 points. And I said, just a quarter ago he had 11. And I was looking, I was looking like the guy that gets this. And I was so happy. I was going to take this to, just like my Aaron Rodgers take. I was going to take these two takes and be just the guru. Oh, man. Yeah. I apologize for once again underestimating Mahomes.
Underestimating Mahomes. Yeah, this is your second apology to the man. Come on. But Mahomes he's a fantasy beast. Like I said, if I had a time machine, I don't go back and get the lotto numbers. I go get Mahomes in my dynasty squads. I mean, he's that good. And it wasn't, for him, it wasn't even that great of a game. But considering other people where his floor is like 17, 18, 19, 20, that's his floor.
Right.
That is his floor. That is insane, man. I wish I had Pat Mahomes. You had him in one of your dynasty squads, right? Yes, I do. It's actually the one that I commissioned where it's not. I'm not doing too well, but yeah, I've got him, and I got a lot of first round picks. I'm ready to build a new team. The funny thing about that is, about 3 or 4 times throughout the season, I offered him up. Then I finally stopped. I was like, no, I'm no longer, because but I was under the impression really quick. I kept thinking, okay, he's not going to keep doing this. Right.
Okay, he's not going to keep doing it. Like, I would sell him high. And then it came to the point, well, if you're going to sell him, it's going to be high every week, dude.
Right.
Like, he's going to keep this up. So, yeah.
One more thing I want to bring up about this, and then we'll have to move on. So we do have Tyreek Hill with this injury. Can Kelvin Benjamin come in and be anything for the rest of the season for the Chiefs?
Cheeseburger Benjamin, I don't know. Not anything that I would be excited about. I think it. Yeah. I like that. If he gets in, man, I just feel like maybe 2 catches for like 17 yards around the end zone, maybe. Like, I don't think it's anything that I'd be excited for.
Well, the only person, I mean, outside of Travis Kelce, we're not going to talk about him. I mean, obviously he's there. But the only person that you can kind of feel rely on a little bit is Chris Conley. Do you not think Kelvin Benjamin can come in and be better than what they have on the bench currently?
Well, I feel like he can, and that's just because of my lack of knowledge of whoever else they have on the bench as far as the receiving core goes. But with that,
he said at the beginning of the season, you give him a good quarterback, he would be the man.
Oh, gosh.
That's what he said.
Whatever, Kelvin. Okay, Kelvin. Okay, Kelvin. That's fine.
That's what he said.
Jones' mom also said that Zay Jones had to tell you plays. So, and Josh Allen is a pretty good quarterback. But anyway, that's great and all. Maybe. I mean, he might be the guy that runs a 10-yard hitch route, and Mahomes is running around the field, and Benjamin plops his way to take 2 steps to the left and catches the ball or 2. I mean, that happens.
Plops his way.
I don't know.
Maybe he should convert to a tight end, man. Maybe that would be the best thing for him, because you're just killing him with this. Hamburger Benjamin plops his way to 10 yards. All right, man. Let's go ahead and move along to the next segment. Let's do our what the hex of the week. One of my favorite segments here. I have a couple, and I just need to start it off. Little Buddy. I'm gonna say, for the people who don't know who Little Buddy is, it's Adam Gase, the head coach of, if you want to call him a coach, but the head coach of the Dolphins. And I know you're sitting there thinking, well, he just won the game against the Patriots. What's wrong? I'm at him again. 7 touches for Kenyon Drake. 7 touches for your best player on the team. 7 touches. But when you need a big play, when you need 52 yards on 1 reception and a touchdown, who do you turn to? If I was Kenyon Drake, I'd be like, you can kick rocks. You know what? Why don't you put Frank Gore out there for that? Let him get you 52 and a touchdown. Why don't you go ahead and put Brandon Bolden out there? Let him do it for you. You continuously underestimate. I'm not sure if he even underestimates the man at this point in time. He just does not give him the ball. But when he is in a tight spot and he needs a miracle, he goes to Kenyon Drake, and you're killing me. He has to get all the fantasy points on one doggone play, Dave. One play. Because he's not getting the touches.
Awesome.
He can do this like twice a game. Maybe not like, exactly like this, but he can give you dynamic plays 2 or 3 times a game. If you give him the Gore touches, you will see this more often.
Yeah, and you will be in a better position. You look like a smart man.
Smart.
You look like when everybody else is already seized out of Kenyon. I was actually the funny thing. I wanted to message you when this happened. I feel like Adam Gase was kind of upset that it got to the point where Kenyon ran the touchdown. I feel like he would have rather
Frank Gore the ball again.
Right, yeah. I feel like he would have rather taken the loss than to see Kenyon run across the pylon. Like any of the 11 people on the field, anybody else could have ran that in.
Right. Are you sure we can't get this to Devontae Parker? I know he hasn't played in 3 seasons, but I'm saying. Oh man,
I don't know. Was that Drake or Jay Ajayi?
Right.
Can we give that to?
Do we trade back for Ajayi? Jeez, no man, he's killing me. Give Drake the ball. He is a dynamic player. I've been saying it all season long. I hope he gets traded. I really do. He should go to San Francisco. He'll be a perfect running back for doggone Mike Shanahan.
Cal Shanahan. See him play somewhere else.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Now, I still kind of hope we get Le'Veon Bell, but he would be a good consolation prize. I really hope they don't bring, I hope they don't bring in Coleman. I just have a feeling in my gut.
Oh, Tevin?
Yeah,
Tevin.
I have a feeling in my gut they're going to do that because they have some relationship. But I think Drake's better than Coleman to me. I think he's a better running back. So, anyhow.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, man. What's your first one?
Oh my gosh, the heart-wrenching one. The Broncos DSP.
Yeah.
Not only is it...
It was a good call, though, man. Yeah,
and it's not only a what the heck because they didn't put up many points. The what the heck for me was they should have had at least 3 interceptions off of tipped passes. When I was watching, there's balls that are just floating in the air, and nobody can go get them. Then they forced 3 fumbles and recovered none of them. Like this, they had
opportunity.
Was there for this. Yeah, it was all there for all of. Oh my!
A rookie quarterback.
Yeah, that was my. Yeah, everything lined up. It was for the taking, and it was almost like the guys were like, okay, let's make half the play, and then just let the other half, let's show what we can do, and we'll just that'll be good enough.
Yeah, that was a good call. I definitely thought the Broncos would have fared much better. As a San Francisco fan, I'm really glad that we won that game, but yeah, that wasn't the game you thought the Broncos would have come out the other side with, especially some of the games they've had here in the last few weeks against better opponents. So they certainly played down a little bit to San Francisco, and we got that W. My second one, I'm sticking with the Dolphins. This has nothing to do with little buddy, but Danny Amendola. This is your revenge game, my friend. This is your chance to go out there and show the Patriots what they're missing. This is the chance for the girl you asked out who turned around and dumped you or embarrassed you. A couple years later, you're ripped, you're rich, you're riding around in your Lamborghini. You're like, yeah, you should have went out with me. This is your opportunity, and you give me 1 reception for 10 yards? This is the time you go to your quarterback and say, listen, I know I might not be all the way open, but this is me. This is my game. You get me the ball. 1 reception for 10 yards. He was becoming, before his injury now, he got injured 1 game, so we're not going to but he was becoming a guy you can count on for 9, 10, 11 points a week. One reception for 10 yards. I'm not sure who played him. He probably didn't get played a whole lot, but people were starting to put him in the lineup in tough spots, and he gave you nothing with the revenge narrative. Zero.
Yeah, that was almost like him and Brandon Bolden kind of had a conversation in the back, and Brandon was like, "Nah, this is I'm gonna take this. Let me do
yeah,
it.
my turn. You get it next year." But no, he's older than Bolden, so he needs to get his now.
Right? No, hey, Bolden, you have chance. The thing is, it was, and I hate to keep bringing it back to Lil Buddy, but it's almost as if Lil Buddy didn't care that this was a revenge game because Danny Amendola only had one target and Bolden only had 2 carries. It just so happens that he took both of them to the house. So it's just like man. But yeah, Danny was definitely in a depleted receiving core.
Yeah.
You definitely were expecting more, and everybody got one target other than Parker and Kenny Stills. Everybody else was just one. You get to see one.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Absolutely, man. What's your second one?
Yeah, my next two, we've already talked about both of them. First is Derrick Henry. My thing is, what took so long? You've been this big and this strong all season.
Right.
So and then against the Jaguars,
that run was insane.
it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
They couldn't, and I understood the corner. Okay, you're huge, but Miles Jack is a good, fast linebacker, and you treated him like a baby.
Yeah.
Look, hey, sit down, child. Daddy's got to go to work. That's what happened there.
Get off my leg.
Right. I'm going here. I don't know where you're going, but that's where I'm headed.
Yeah, so, man. That
should have been. Yeah, that should have been happening all season.
Season. I think that there, in open space, when he gets that head of steam, he's super dangerous. I think his problem is getting hit at the line of scrimmage. He's not quick enough or fast enough or shifty enough to get around maybe that initial tackle where he has to do a jump cut or something like that. That's where he's. But if you could give him a hole, that first layer, oh man, you're talking about some serious heat. That's why they brought in. Deion Lewis. Yeah, that's why they brought in Deion Lewis. A little more shifty, a little better in the passing game, a little quicker, that kind of thing. And you can see that from time to time. But, man, Derrick Henry to me, for a running back, that's the game of the century. And there may have been better games, but it's going to be very hard to find one where you find a run like that and just kind of just truck sticking people with. So it was a really good game.
And total domination.
Yeah.
It was just, after that run, it was just like a head of steam. Every time you hit me, I'm falling forward. It was over and over and over.
It was good.
Marshawn Lynch-esque.
Absolutely. So you had one more?
Yes. Did you want to go? You want me to go ahead and say it?
Go ahead, knock it out.
Yeah, my next one was Derek Carr. What on earth, Mr. Carr? You alluded to it earlier with 2 games in a row. He's had good games. He had 285 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Chiefs, and then 322 yards and 2 touchdowns this week. And my thing is, you have no one to throw the ball to. Where are these yards coming from? What the heck, Derek? What do you do? I think the other guy that caught a touchdown was Derek Carrier this game. I don't even know what position this dude plays.
Yeah.
What? How are you getting these yards? So, that was crazy.
Well, it's very hard to say, and you can kind of say that I'm not sure if it's been good for both teams to an extent. It's hard to say it would be good for both teams, both players. But Amari Cooper is doing his thing, in Dallas. I had a great game. And Derek Carr is coming along. Now, you would like to have seen him do that in Oakland. Why can't Derek Carr get him the ball the way, Dak Prescott is getting Amari Cooper the ball? Maybe it was just a clout. Maybe Gruden's on something. Maybe we need to clean house. Maybe there's something this week we need to clear some stuff out. He still has to be smacking himself over Khalil Mack. I mean, that's
absolutely
one thing. But maybe, we got to start. I'm coming in. We got to start from grassroots, and let's see what he can do. And, man, I'm really, really happy for Derek Carr because at one point he was one of those rising stars we were just really hopeful for to be one of the next great quarterbacks or really, really good quarterbacks in the league, kind of take the league into the next. Because we got people retiring. We got Tom Brady getting older. We got Aaron Rodgers getting older. So you got some of these great quarterbacks going out. You want to see that next batch of great quarterbacks come in to take the NFL into its future. And you were hoping he would be one of them, and this hasn't quite happened. But, yeah, really a couple of good games, and hopefully it could continue. My third one was, what the heck, Josh Allen? He is, to me, hands down, at this point in time, I don't care, the best best running quarterback in the league. The dude...
No, you said it right the first time.
Yeah, this is about the best running back, too. I mean, he is going to force me to watch a Bills game. Now, that's how bad this is getting. Okay, because I've ignored them the entire season. I haven't watched one game. I may have turned for a snippet, but I've never sat there and watched a Bills game. No. They played primetime one day. Was it against the Patriots? I think it was against the Patriots.
Yeah, that Patriots
But
game,
he wasn't starting that game. What neither here nor there. He's going to force me to watch a Bills game. I want to see this dude run the ball.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I actually continue not to even tune in or look at highlights or anything, but I kind of want to see this too. I want to see what this guy is. I mean, why is he so phenomenal running the ball? What is it?
Yeah. I mean, to me, if you just look at the box score and the stat lines, he's much more efficient running the ball than Lamar Jackson. And you guys say Lamar Jackson is one of the fastest running quarterbacks out there. There's something else going on here. I want to see what it is because he is just insane with running the ball. And if he can put it together over the offseason, he's still a rookie. So, I mean, he could put the passing element with this as well. Wow.
It's going to be scary.
Yeah.
It's going to be scary.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's go ahead to the next segment. It's not really a segment. This is just what I wanted to do was give the people out there your one ride or die guy for the rest of the season. This is not Pat Mahomes. Okay, we're past that, right? We know to start him every week. We're not going to talk about him. This is not CMC. This is not Juju. I'm just calling him, keep messing his name up. Juju Smith-Schuster. This is kind of a little bit under the radar guy, but this is your guy for the rest of the season. Who do you have?
See now you said under the radar, so I don't.
Not so much under the radar. It doesn't have to be like some guy on waivers or anything, but someone you would maybe kind of be doubting yourself on a weekly basis. Okay, do I put this guy in or that guy in? Who should I start? This guy. Who would that be?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. For me, it's going to be Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb has solidified, and he's that guy.
Yeah.
For the Browns, and the Browns offense is looking. I mean, it's a pretty good offense. It's looking pretty good. They're running the ball well. They're passing it well.
Right.
And I think that Nick Chubb for me has come to the point where I'm not even. If I'm filling up my running back slots, Nick Chubb's got his home.
He's
all right, you're good. Now let's fill out the rest.
Good deal. My guy is Derrick Cook. We've talked about him a number of times this season. I think he's going to be a top 3 tight end the rest of the way. That's above Gronk. That's above some of these other guys. Outside of Ertz and Kelsey, I like Derrick Cook. And to your question from before, half of the yards that Carr is getting is going to my man Cook. I really like him.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely. I love that.
Let's go ahead and jump into our waivers. Should be a short deal. We get you guys out of here this evening. I'll let you go ahead and start the waivers off. Who do you have?
Yeah, with the waivers being thin, for me, I only really was looking at one guy, and it was Kenneth Dixon, if he's available in some of your
Go ahead.
If he's available in some of your leagues, you had a lot of guys once he went down for injury. Especially early on in the season, had to move on. So if he's available, I think that's a guy that you definitely have to have redraft dynasty, keeper, what have you, pick him up for this fantasy championship run. I think he'll be an intricate part of your team.
Yep. I had him as well. One of my guys is Curtis Samuel. Probably should not be on waivers, but if he is on waivers, he is a big part now of the Carolina offense. I think he and both DJ Moore have surpassed Devin Funless, we call him around here, as primary targets for Cam Newton. So I love what I've seen out of him. He's a speedster. He's getting some fantasy points. I believe he led the Carolina Panthers in receiving yards this last game as well. Another guy is Eli Manning. He has been competent. If you're in a tough spot like I'm in with Cam Newton, not knowing what happens, if he goes on IR for the rest of the year or whatnot, they shut him down, I may be willing to at least pick Eli Manning up. He'll give you 13, 14 points, which can be better than Marcus Mariota giving you a 6. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, I was thinking about starting Mariota because of Cam's injury. I didn't know how it was going to happen. And Cam had a horrible game, but still scored 5 more points than Mariota. All right, and the last favorite for me is the Titans defense. We've seen what they just did. Yeah, you've seen what they just did to Jacksonville, and they end off the season with Washington and the Giants. And we see what the Giants did to Washington. So think about what now this is how it goes, because this is going to be I start them so you sit them. They're going to get torched by Washington. They're going to get torched by some Mark Sanchez or whoever's out there, Josh Johnson, whatever. It's going to be a horrible game, but they should kill them. There should be a good game for them. Absolutely. Do you have anybody else?
That was super sneaky.
Oh, well, yeah.
I actually really like that Titans. I didn't even think about that. I might have to, look and see if I can.
That's why you're on the show, man. Pick it up. You get it first. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we've been running for about an hour here. We're going to get you guys out of here. Dave, you don't have anything else for the people? I'm just going to let them know if you can dodge a run, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah, you guys, we get Saturday NFL this week starting.
Yep.
So you guys enjoy all the football you can get. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your week.
Thanks, man. We'll sign it off.